Welcome in, welcome back to the Cove. This is my second live I'm doing today, which is crazy. But some news broke, so I had to come on and talk about it. And we talked about it earlier. I'm gonna hold off and wait for some people to come in. You know, normally I don't do lives, but the algorithm says it's time for me to knock some of these bad boys out. It's a Friday night, so I know a lot of people is probably getting ready to hit the hay. But where we at? Where we at? There's dates added, so we're gonna talk about it. We got other people that's excuse me, gonna be added to the tour. Hey Alicia. Welcome in, welcome in. What's up, buddy? Yeah, we talked about this tour today and this morning, and I talked to some of those cities I talked about. Argentina, Chile, Mexico, Brazil. We spoke about that this morning as well. So we're gonna just touch bases on some of that, and the thing about this is that there would be no SZA and no Mustard. No SZA and no Mustard on this. This will be Kendrick Lamar solo. He's going to bring these guys along with them. Ca7riel Paco Amoroso. Yeah, that's who's going to be opening up for him. I guess it's going to be a different show. Obviously, it's going to be a different show, but they're going to be opening up for him for that part of the tour. Now, the European part is still to come. And I guess after the European tour is done, he'll be solo. So he'll be solo from Australia. Yeah. It's pretty much become a world tour. It has. And there's still dates that are going to be added. There's still dates that I think going to be added. Because I think New Zealand is on the list, but I didn't hear it being announced. But I saw it on there. But dates are still being added. So I don't think it's over. Well, let me, as a matter of fact, I'm gonna go right into this other clip right here because we could talk
Aries,
about
Argentina, and then October 7th, they'll be going to Latin America. Kendrick Lamar is coming your way. It's funny, I was just speaking about this yesterday, and then it got announced today. Remember, I'm never wrong, usually early. Anyways, Kendrick Lamar is taking a grand national tour to Latin America. He will be bringing along 2 Latin American artists. Let's talk about where he's going. This will take place from the end of September, beginning of October. The first stop will be Mexico City, Mexico on September 23rd, then Bogotá, Colombia on September 27th. Then on September 30th, they'll be going to Sao Paulo, Brazil. And then October 4th will be Buenos Aires, Argentina. And then October 7th, they'll be going to Santiago, Chile. Yeah, man, these shows should be extremely successful. I'm excited to see what that Sao Paulo, Brazil concert looks like, because Brazil be showing out, man. And I know Mexico City should be crazy too, because Mexico, man, them niggas love Kendrick. Yeah, but for the people that's like, we need an African leg of the tour, we need an Asian leg of the tour.
I mean, we even saw when what was this, the Squabble Up video, he had a lot of Hispanic people in that video. And you see why.
Or just keep your eyes open, because there is a buffer in between the Latin America leg of the tour and then the Australian leg. So things could still be announced. They could still be trying to filter some things or trying to figure some things out. Or you could be taking a break, because it's a lot. You packing in, you touring, you're traveling, you're away from your family. It's a lot, man. So we'll see what ends up happening. this is a crazy run. Like I said, man, with these added shows, plus the numbers that he's already been doing, they got the 18 shows or the 15 shows.
Yeah.
They got a lot of shows in Europe, you feel me? And then the shows in Australia and Latin America, they could be somewhere close to that $500 million range by the time this is said and done, which is insane, gang, insane. And this is a crazy look for hip hop. Shout out to everybody that pushed the needle. Shout outs to Drake. He did the 320 million, which was crazy. You feel me? And Kendrick is going to end up breaking that record, and somebody will come along and break that again, whether it be Drake or Kendrick or whatever. I know you guys want to fight in the comments about who's bigger, or this one did, and this one had 80 shows, and this one had 23, but it was stadiums, but it was arenas. But they pushing the game and pushing the culture forward, gang. Y'all can fight amongst yourselves. I don't really care. They're making hundreds of $1 million, and some of y'all don't even have hundreds of dollars in your bank account. But if you're going to be able to make it to these shows, God bless. I hope you guys have a good time. Let me know if you're able to secure your tickets. Till next time, I'm out of here. You shitting me?
Well, as so, a lot of dates are still being added, like I just said, and I was wondering how come he didn't book any shows in Africa, because he's been to Africa. He's performed over there a lot before. And I got this clip here. I'm going to have to pause some of this for music. And this is pretty much in Africa. This is Africa right here. And I think they want Dot over there as well. Yeah, man, a lot of people are proud of what Dot's doing. Very proud. You know, it's like I said, he's gonna basically, Dot's not ready to finish this tour at all. He's not finished like stomping people's back ends, you know. He's like, no, nope. I got one more. But it's an amazing show. And I think when it's all said and done, it's gonna hit there's gonna hit at least all the continents in the world, because it's a high demand for his music right now. Very high. Very high. Let me pull up that article. So basically, this is it's worldwide. Yeah, he's going to be doing Europe, there's Australia, New Zealand, Brazil, Chile, Argentina. You know, he's pretty much covering the world. Mexico. You know, like I said, Brazil. I want to see what that crowd looks like, because they did a Lady Gaga concert over there, and she performed in front of 2 million people. These stadiums over there is ridiculously large when it comes to soccer, so they go hold a lot of people. And I'm sure they'll show up to see Dot, bro. Definitely. So this is the this is the group. I had to actually go look them up because I had no idea who Ca7riel and Paco Amoroso was. And it's pretty interesting. They're from Argentina. All right. They're gonna be basically opening up for Kendrick. No SZA, no Mustard. You know, it's a little sad, but you know, I'm sure they got stuff going on. It is kind of weird not seeing them there, but it is what it is, right? I haven't I haven't heard of them until now. So I actually had to go look them up and see who they were. And they're like a duo, and they're pretty interesting. Pretty interesting stuff. Yeah, Kendrick's going all out. Kendrick is like, listen, I ain't letting it go. I'm gonna drag this, and we still got to remember he excuse me, he still possibly has a project coming out. So at some point, that's got to drop. We think it might be a deluxe, but I'm hoping it's just a different project with a different name because this GNX album has been better than I think a lot of people expected. Let's see if I can get this on. Did y'all see that? They didn't touch the mic for at least a few seconds. Like, yeah, I don't really want to play too much of the music, but this is the group that's going to open up for K Dot when he does Latin America. And yeah, they're very interesting group. They like I said, I can't play the music on here. But it's very interesting. I should go check them out. I mean, if Kendrick is using them in to open up for him, they must be very important to Latin America because y'all know Kendrick don't accidentally do things. He's very intentional with everything he does. So they definitely were. And the things I heard from them so far sounds very nice. It sounds very nice. I can't say that I heard of him before, but well, let them let them believe what they want to believe. You know what I'm saying? Because you know it's one of them things where at this point you kind of just ignore him because he's basically doing everything they said he couldn't do. Everything they say he couldn't do, he's doing. And listen, I'm thinking all these are still stadiums, right? Are any of these arenas? As far as I know, I think they're all. Let's see. Oh, wrong one. Picked up the wrong one. But yeah, these are the tour dates for Latin America. Doesn't really say if it's months. Yep. If anybody's tuning in from Latin America, let me know if these are stadiums, all stadiums. And then before that, he still's got to hit. They're gonna hit Europe, and that would be him and SZA in Europe. That would be anybody out there going to the European tour, the UK. You know, I know those shows been sold out, and I'm waiting to see what these shows look like. Okay. Oh, wow. Thank you, Alicia. Alicia with the $10 dono. I appreciate that so much. Big up to Alicia. I appreciate you. So any Google any of the verses? What do you mean? I got a couple of clips that I found today that was interesting too. Let me pull some of those up. But this tour is going to expand so far across the globe. I don't think people expected what they're getting.
Here, I'm gonna give you a gift. It's a cake. Damn, Drake fans get real mad when you call out their lies and propaganda. I'm sorry. Here, I'm gonna give you a gift. It's a cake. So you can be super mad because I'm about to do it again.
And I know I'm about to butcher this name, y'all. But Canadian politician and new Democratic Party leader, Jagmeet Singh.
I'll give you credit. You said his name right. Continue.
Then a DM from Drake to Mr. Singh simply saying you're a goof goes viral. Now, I don't know who put this out here. I don't know if Drake put this out here or Mr. Singh himself. But then we start getting the usual, oh, there go Drake being bothered again. How Drake mad at a man for attending a concert in a city that he's a political leader for? Drake's so hurt.
Of course he's bothered. He posted it. His DMs. They ain't talked to each other in 5 years, and that's the first thing that you say to him after 5 years, and you post it?
That's a fact, right? He had to say shit. We ain't talking years, and that's the first time he's post something.
That's a bothered individual. It's fragile and emotional because it proves that if you're on a Drake side that lost, that you guys can't live with someone being fans of both. If someone supports Kendrick in any kind of way, you guys are going to trip out. And instead of Drake calming you guys down, he puts a battery in your back. It makes you feel like you have a right to go at this dude for just going to a concert. That's corny.
Everybody can have their fun and pile on, but Drake is the one that gotta let it go.
Drake doesn't have to let it go, but every time he acts like an emotional person and over there sending messages at 1 a.m. mad at somebody for going to a concert, yeah, we could call him out for being emotional because that's something that a bothered person would do.
DM leaks. Mr. Singh goes on his IG story and says, I went for SZA, not Kendrick. I was born in this city. I love this city. But real talk, I get it. I shouldn't have gone at all. OVO and Drake have lifted up this city and Canada. For me, it'll always be Drake over Kendrick. The reason y'all are upset that he apologized is because that shatters another narrative that y'all were trying to create.
And nobody is mad that a narrative fell apart because he apologized. Everybody's clowning him because that was some soft ass shit to do. Why are you apologizing for enjoying yourself? Clear something up. I'm one of the biggest Kendrick fans in the world, and I never thought he was cool for going to.
And that's true. A lot of us was upset that he apologized. Like, when was the last time we heard Kendrick Lamar apologize for some shit?
The concert. But I do think it was corny to apologize for it. If you think he apologized because he's loyal and he realized the fault of his ways, you're probably slow because he was at the show. And you telling me that he only listened to the SZA parts and only jammed out to the SZA parts? I wonder if there's going to be some video evidence that proves that he's full of shit.
There was. I would kill the music because it's crazy nowadays. There's video footage everywhere. You gotta be careful out here.
We got him.
He jamming. Turn the TV off. Turn the TV off. So it probably wasn't loyalty. The reason why he probably apologized was because y'all probably in his DMs threatening him and getting all mad at him because Drake posted it to his story with his millions of followers, and you guys don't know how to be regular fans. You don't know how to take an L gracefully, so you're going to sit there and get mad at anybody that shows love to anybody that's Drake's ops. But Drake has a long list of ops, so you guys are never going to rest.
That is true, isn't it? That is very true. So what would this tour look like with no Mustard and no SZA? That is a question we got to talk about. Now, just like Alicia said it earlier, a lot of people thought that SZA was the reason why he was selling out, or Lady Shay said it right here. But these shows are still selling out. So I guess it isn't. Well, we haven't really found out what the sales are yet. But the way it has been going, TDE, PG Lang, they do their homework before they book these shows. They know what the numbers are gonna look like somewhat. And they don't just walk in this thing not knowing blindly. Because even like the situation with Drake, it didn't seem like a lot of that stuff was planned out when he went to Australia. It just seemed like he caught a temper tantrum. He was like, I'm going away from the Super Bowl and I'm going to flip a coin, and wherever I pick, that's where I go. Australia sounds nice. Let's go to Australia. Yeah, we'll just go there and sell some tickets. They didn't do any planning. Nobody. That's like that scene on the Boondocks when Riley and them went to help out. I forgot those two guys' names, and they didn't really have a plan. That's how Drake team moves, it seems like, because the fact that they went to a place not even knowing if they could sell it out before they got there, to me was ridiculous. But you got to wonder, what would that tour look like? They're always going to talk. They're always going to talk. But when people talk about you, that means you're doing good. So you got to be able to step over that bull and keep it moving, you know. Nobody that's doing good ever starts to fight. It's the one that's losing always want to drag you down with them. So just step over that and keep it moving. I think so. I think so. And listen, I could see him booking some African shows as well, because he's been over to some of these African countries and performed. I think he might have just got back from over there when he did the Big Steppers tour. So yeah, he's got tons of fans all over. Anybody in South Africa watching this, let me know how y'all feel about K-Dot coming to Africa. Possible. I don't know what the talks are, but it seemed like he's trying to call Drake a PDF on every rock across the world, every continent. He got Europe and North America locked. I think Colombia is the closest to Central America. He'll cover the whole. They love him. They love him now, Diane. They truly love him, and that's what a lot of people don't really understand. Well, people do understand. The Hovey Hoes don't understand. They for some reason think that Kendrick is some guy that just came up as an underground artist, and all of a sudden he beat Drake in a rap beef, and all of a sudden he's doing shows. Like, he's got 20 plus Grammys. Drake has what, 5 Grammys? Kendrick won that in one night. Multiple times. He's done it. Multiple times. Now, we see this new group that's going to be on tour with him. I'm assuming that the show is not going to go like the SZA and him tour where they went back to back. I'm assuming these guys are going to open for him and K-Dot's going to probably let it fly. I don't know. I'm curious to see what the show looks like when it gets there. And there could be possibilities of, other people joining. You never know. But that group, they seem like they have the crowd, the energy. I don't know how they're going to mesh. I don't think they have any music with Kendrick, but we don't know what he got coming up. And they could probably be featured in a future song coming up with him. But as far as I know, they don't have any music together, which is kind of strange, isn't it? Usually the person you open up for, at least you have worked together in some way. And Kendrick is very intentional with the things that he chooses to do, the people he chooses to work with, where he performs and how it's done. He liked things done a certain way. Have y'all ever heard of Ca7riel Paco Amoroso? Are y'all fans of them? Or is it can't talk tonight? Or you guys discovering them for the first time as I am? It's crazy because he's gonna. I just can't wait to see what that show looks like. Because without Scissor, it's a different show, totally different. Now, as a Kendrick fan, having him going back to back without Scissor would have been the energy vibes would have probably tore that place down. Would have probably tore that place down if SZA wasn't between that first break, because the energy was so high that when the SZA part comes in, it kind of calms you down. It calms you down a little bit. Yeah, K-Dot's always tuned into things, and like I said, he's very intentional with everything he does. Very intentional. It pays to be bilingual. I should know a lot more Spanish than I do. I understand it more than I can speak it. But it's very good to be, and that's like half the world speaks Spanish, probably more than half. So that's something good to know. And he did have a lot of Spanish influence on GNX. He did. So maybe this could be um a heads up to what the new project might be. You know, that could be something, because we all hinted that there's possibly something coming up, a deluxe. Maybe these guys are on the deluxe with him. I don't know. It's kind of fishy, ain't it? But either way, we love it. We love it. We can't wait to get it. Hey, somebody got to be doing good. It's a Friday night. What y'all doing on a Friday night? Kendrick is adding dates. Now, anybody going to one of these shows? We got Argentina, Chile. I know somebody's going to be flying out from the U.S. to go to one of those shows. Brazil, Mexico City. I know Mexico City is doable for a lot of people here. That would be the place, Mexico City. I wonder what plans SZA has coming up as well. She's most likely got a lot of stuff set up after this tour. I wonder if she's got a new album dropping. He's definitely he's basically like when I talked about, I think yesterday, about Kendrick turning rap into pop music, his music into pop music. And that's kind of what's going on right now. They're going to be singing his music in English in their country. Because he's not translating. They're singing it the way it was wrote and meant to be. So they're going to be singing A minor. He's basically whacking this dude out, yo. Like he's whacking Drake out in the entire world. Why y'all think Drake ran over to Europe to plan those shitty sexy songs tour? Because he know once Kendrick comes to those cities and whack him out, he ain't going back for a minute. Since this beef happened, he hasn't done any performance anywhere in North America, including Canada. Like he wouldn't even dare. He's running overseas. Like definitely spiraling, like K-Dot said. Yeah. Yeah, Alicia, the world is requesting it. One of those days. Diane. Yeah. The world wants to see this show. And like I said, I think PG Lang and TDE are getting calls. Dave Free is getting tons of calls, and people want to see this show. Um, I'm sure maybe SZA had other plans why she didn't want to continue, but either way, they're gonna break that record together. I think in these next what they got 14 shows in Europe. They're gonna break some records in Europe because Europe got some big stadiums too. They're all soccer is number one over there. Soccer is king, and the stadiums 100,000 plus a lot of these places. So they could probably do just as much as they did in the US in those 14 shows. It is possible. All right, Lady Shay, you have a good night. Hope you feel better. I appreciate you. Thank you. Hey, I just come in to, try to have a conversation with, regular Kendrick fans. Some of you, I know most people on here like Kendrick. I'm a Kendrick fan, but I like to keep it honest and real, I don't if it's bullshit, I'll call it. You happen to step in it and get stuck to your shoe, that's on you. Watch where you're going. And don't bring your nasty ass shoes in my house either. Take them shits off at the door. Yep, I'm West Indian to the bone. Trinity to the bone. Yeah, he's basically completing his international alliance, like I was saying, because every one of these places that he go to, we're gonna fall in love with his music. Not necessarily rap itself, but his music in particular, because they're calling for it. And usually promoters of those areas will be able to say, hey, we can run 3 shows in this area and we still need a 4th. I haven't seen him booked any. I think he has 2 shows in somewhere in Europe in the same place, but haven't seen too many of those yet in Latin America. But I think they're still adding dates, because if you look at the calendar, the graph, there's some dates in between there. I know some people say, "Oh, the travel is hard." This isn't like 15, 20 years ago. The way technology is today, a lot of these guys, their families with them, they're flying back home. The technology is so different. You can pick up a phone now and literally FaceTime somebody, know exactly what they're doing on the other side of the world. We live in a different time now, where you got money, you can control the narrative of the way things happen. For sure. So how y'all feel about these dates being added? Anybody trying to roll up? I'm really, really interested to see what this show looks like, because I would like to see Kendrick solo. Or with these guys. I'm sure these guys may open up for him. Yeah, I'm assuming that these UK shows are going to be huge. They're going to be huge. So, yeah, I don't think he'll have to double up on the UK shows, because they're going to make it. But it's just that in Latin America, like, for instance, Brazil, the population in Brazil is like crazy. It's a large number. I can't remember what it is off the top, but and there's a lot of K-Dot fans in Brazil. So we'll see. Hey, I always appreciate if you enjoy the videos. Just like them. Hey, if you're in here, make sure you like the video. I appreciate you coming through, hanging out with me on a Friday night. We talking Kendrick Lamar and this GNX Grand National Tour. Originally when this tour started, after he did the Super Bowl, well, before he did the Super Bowl, the tour was announced. It was just an American tour. But after what he did with the performance he did at the Super Bowl, the same Super Bowl show that everyone disliked, the same Super Bowl show that everybody called a disgrace to American culture, all kinds of crap. After the Super Bowl show, the European people start calling, we want some of that. And then once they start, Australia's calling, all these. Now, after he's basically finished the American tour and they see the numbers it pulled in and the success that it has, now Latin America says, hey, we want some of that too. We want some of that too. So it's only time before Africa comes in. There's 50 different countries in Africa, but there's a few popular ones. I know the way things have been going with immigration right now, I'm assuming these are complicated things for the shows overseas, and it could be the reason why some of these destinations aren't going to be met, because we had a time right now where that stuff's just stirred up for no reason, and that could definitely be a reason why some of these shows are really not booked yet, because you got to think about it. If you're moving a tour like that, and y'all saw the Kendrick and SZA tour, the way it's been moving, you got to also move those people as well, and everybody got to clear security, and they got to clear TSA, and they got to make it over. They got to make sure everything is, and if they don't, they got to find replacements. And you can't be replacing somebody in tours like this. You want to make sure you got people that know what they're doing. you know. So I'm assuming some of these places, it's going to be tough to get the tour there. If you're checking in from somewhere around the world where the tour hasn't been announced yet, let me know where you at. Because from what I know, the world love K Dot. The world. When you look at that number, those names right there, Colombia, Brazil, Argentina, Chile, and Mexico. Have you ever thought, like I saw, because I called it this morning when I went to the Oregon Festival in 2017. These were countries that put it together. It was put together by 14 different countries. And I mentioned Chile, I mentioned Brazil, and Argentina. And all those people were at the festival that put the show together. And I could always tell you they love Kendrick Lamar. A lot of people that go to all these festivals, Japan is another place that I could see the show going to. They love Kendrick Lamar over there as well in Japan. You know, there's other Asian countries that he could probably hit up too. I'm surprised that those haven't been met. But like I said, they're still adding dates. But that's just gonna be crazy seeing Kendrick in Colombia. Wow. I'm really proud of where he's taking rap. Very proud of that. Very proud. Man, just when I thought I was out, they pulled me back in. Yeah, he's definitely going to deliver. And here's the thing, too. I'm going to keep mentioning it. Now that he's doing Europe, now he's doing Latin America, they are preparing Kendrick Lamar to perform at the next World Cup. And I'm going to keep saying it. He's going to perform at the next World Cup because it's going to be in New York, New Jersey at MetLife Stadium, which he did 2 performances there. Because if all these places he's hitting, soccer is king. Brazil, which is one of the greatest soccer teams of all time. Argentina, which is one. Maradona, Pele, all those guys went to these places. Mexico, Chile, soccer is king. Colombia. I'm telling you, I see it already. Make sure y'all mark this date, June 27th, 2025. Peapod Cove predict Kendrick Lamar will be performing at the World Cup. Ching! If I'm wrong, kill me in the comments. Y'all will forget anyway. Hey, has anybody seen the group that's going to perform with Kendrick in the Latin tour? Has anybody ever seen him perform before? Ca7riel. I guess it's a 2-team. It's 2 of them. Paco Amoroso and Ca7riel. I'm not sure why he puts a 7 in the name, but let me see. I think I got a banner with it. Yeah, there's a 7. I'm not sure what that signifies. Hopefully, I'm not saying it wrong. I'd never like to purposely, intentionally enunciate somebody's name. But I'm very interested in their music. You know, I heard some of it. Me being West Indian, I'm from Tobago and the other island next to us. I know some Trinidad, no, but that's all right. But that type of music, I love it. You know, we got a lot of calypso, soca over there, so That's right up my alley. That's right up my alley. I love the energy that they bring out to the crowd. You know, you can see they control the crowd. And I'm curious to see because now Kendrick is going into their world. He's going into their world. And I'm really curious to see how that's going to work out. Because Kendrick flourishes in every environment. And if he can sell out these Latin shows, if he sell out these shows, well, first of all, here's what OVOs are going to say. Everybody went to see Ca7riel and Amoroso. That's gonna be the first. That's gonna be the first thing they're gonna say. I can hear it already. I can hear him already. Anybody see anything that Act said, that Akadidi say about it? Them guys have been hiding. They've been trying to talk different conversations now. Oh, well, y'all keep continuing the beef. Like y'all didn't drag Meek for 2-3 years after. But if Kendrick sells out these shows in Latin America, ain't no more talking. He the GOAT. Ain't no more talking. I don't care what nobody say. And when he done with this whole tour, he gonna demolish the biggest rap concert ever. Ever. And I could see him rolling this bad boy into 2026. I don't think he giving up. He ain't taking his foot off the gas. He definitely ain't taking the foot off the gas. I'm hoping on the back end, he drops some more shows in the US. That's what I'm hoping. But if he sell out these 4 shows, these not 4, but 5, 6, but some of these shows here in Latin America, he sell these out. Ain't no more talking. Y'all can't say nothing else about Kendrick. Because at this point, he has done everything. And he's suplexed Drake at this point. Because Drake ain't do no world stadium tour. It's one thing to do a world tour. But to do a stadium tour in another country that people think the fans over there aren't your fans, but they don't realize how far Kendrick music transcends. They really don't. But you know what? They finna find out. They finna find out. Hey, we got the same 24. What you mad for? For real. I wonder I guess this group's gonna totally open up from he ain't gonna handle DJ. I guess Mustard gotta go cook up some new stuff, you know what I mean? He had his run, right? He got his commercial, got his new Mustard stuff on, and he gonna run with that, take it to another level. But listen, Colombia, Brazil. Now, the thing about these places as well is they have a huge soccer following. So the stadiums are massive. Massive stadiums. Yeah, I think football stadiums hold a lot. No, not close. Now, there's a few college stadiums that hold 100,000, like Penn State, the big house, I think Michigan, those like 110,000 fans, but that's not common in the US. But over here in these places, this is very common. So if he is to sell these out, we're talking, I can see 100 mil right there alone. Probably more. This is going to be crazy numbers. He's trying to eclipse $1 billion for this tour. Forget a half. I know people talking about $500,000. He's trying to do $1 billion. You think so, huh? Listen, Drake don't really want he don't want anything. Now, here's the thing. If you notice, Drake has not confronted Kendrick Lamar with anything since the beef. He hasn't said his name. He hasn't, because when that beef happened and people talked about pushing the red button, I don't think Kendrick has pushed the red button yet. I think Kendrick still has a lot on Drake, and that's why you don't see Drake responding to a lot of things. So what he's gonna do? He's gonna do it from behind with the pen, just like a politician. He's gonna talk nice to your face and F you on the back end for sure. Yeah, Drake did do some karaoke, didn't he? You figure at some point he gonna stop the gambling and you know what? The crypto and all this stuff, you kind of wonder how much of that stuff is real. You know what I'm saying? How much is real? Because he's involved in so many different deals that a lot of that stuff that he gets to gamble with is given to him as like play money. And he's basically doing it to promote for the company. So I don't think he's using his real money with a lot of that thing. I think it's just a propaganda he pushed to get people to go out there and act like they're big ballers. But yeah, I'm very curious to see what these dates are gonna look like. Now, I don't think they're trying to push any violence with Drake, and at this point, Dot doing what he's supposed to do. You know what I mean? Nobody ain't looking for no real beef when it comes to that stuff. But listen, where Dot is right now, that's just BS you don't even want to get involved with. You think Dot made $200 million off of Drake's beef? I don't know what the number is. I'm not really gonna pocket watch Dot like that. But I know the record company made tons of money. But yeah, well, the Super Bowl was able to bring him to discovery to a lot of people who never heard of him before. And because his music and his back catalog is so great, everything went up and people kept listening. He gained a lot of fans and they stuck around. Some people came, looked, and left, whatever, but he gained a lot of fans since the Super Bowl. And like I keep saying, this tour right here is proving that Kendrick is a bigger artist than Drake puts in his lawsuit. Way bigger. And the fact that, like I said, if he sell out these tours with no SZA, they can't say, oh, SZA is the reason why he sold out these tours in North America and Europe. Nope, there's no SZA. And he's basically going to be the headliner. He's going to have an opening act, but he's going to be the headliner. So once these shows sell out, ain't going to be no more talking, wondering, oh, he didn't do it by himself. People just went there to listen to Not Like Us. Hey, if you want to pay $500 to just listen to Not Like Us, we good. Whatever. We got the same 24. What you mad for? You know what I'm saying? What are you mad for? You see, I can't sell it out. I sell it out. Now you're telling me everybody ain't singing to my song. Mind your business. Stay over there. Stay over there. Oh, we got some conflict going on there in the chat. Now listen, I know SZA is part of TDE as well. SZA and Kendrick been together for a long time. they've been on a come up together. You know, when you look at the group Black Hippie, SZA is involved in that group just as much, because she was around then. She ain't no spring chicken. I mean, if you get two artists from the same label to go on tour together, wouldn't that be more profitable to the label anyway? Isn't that the end goal? And the fact that if you look at SZA's last tour that she did around when Kendrick did the Big Steppers tour, the earning from both shows wasn't that far off. They was kind of similar. I don't have the numbers in front of me right now, but like SZA has a huge fan base just as much. That's why they work great together. I hear Alicia. And that's one thing about Drake that I never like. Why didn't he try to pick something he can win at? It seemed like he just keep picking failing opportunities, like he's shooting dice or something. Like he just keeps screwing party over like crazy. Like, so anybody planning on going to some of these dates? Latin America is going to be off the chain. I'm wondering if he's going to change the set list. That's something we got to think about too. I'm still waiting to see when he performs Meets the Grams. At some point, he has to perform that song, right? He has to perform that song. Bergerono Castle is having a temper tantrum down in the chat. Oh, yeah. Yeah, we keep it peaceful over here, bro. Have you been out to see the tour yet? It might help. Yeah, I went to the show at the arena. A lot of people here has been to the show. A couple of people here went 3 and 4 times actually. A couple of people on that follow this channel, and a couple of Americans are actually flying to Europe to see a second and a third time. If I had to go, I had to choose one of these destinations to go see him, it would be Chile. I was supposed to go to Chile in 2020, and because of the pandemic, it got canceled. There was another festival that we all were going to hook up at over there, because we did the one in Oregon in 2017, I think it was, the Oregon Eclipse. And that was amazing. It was over 100,000 people at that show. That was crazy. And we were supposed to go to Chile, and they had one in 2020, got canceled because of the pandemic. So I've always wanted to get back to Chile. Always wanted to go back to Chile. What up, Q? What's going on? Always want to get back to Chile. Well, everything takes time. Everything takes time. We spoke about this before. Like you got to think about the optics. You just don't book a show because you think it's a nice place to have an event. You have to make sure you can sell out the event. You got to make sure that there's people there that actually want to attend. And TDE is not going to walk into a situation and do something like Drake where he just goes to Australia, not knowing if he can sell out the stadium and falls flat on his face. You know what I'm saying? And if you notice the way TDE and PG Lang move, they're very strategic in what they do. So when it times to come to an event, like why would they go to Jamaica? Why would they go to Haiti? Like, I'm not saying Jamaica couldn't, but it just, the optics doesn't work. Like, we spoke about immigration issues earlier. To get into some of these places, you got to have different credentials to get in. And it's just not Kendrick going. You bring in a crew. Everybody got to be able to clear. Things happen. So you gotta think about that. Vietnam, places like that. China, Japan. I think he will book Japan. We talked about the African nations. He's been to Africa on the last tour he did. He was there, but with the stadium is a little different. It's not the same as the arenas. And with all the things going on, I'm sure you've been watching the news. A lot of these things going on with the African nations, and especially things that's going on here in America when it comes to a lot of things going on with the politics. And it's become very difficult for certain travel to happen. So you got to keep all that in mind because they're dealing with that too. They're dealing with that too. So you got to look at it from every point of view out there. And me, I always try to keep a level head. You know what I'm saying? Well, why stretch and fail when you can take a slow step and succeed? You know what I'm saying? Don't rush to get there when you're gonna get there eventually. Just like Kendrick always said, don't cheat. You don't have to cheat the system to get where you want to go. If you do it the right way, it's gonna come on the back end. But if you cheat early, use steroids, use stuff like that, you're gonna get hit later. You're gonna get caught. And once that happens, you get suspended, you out the game. You get named a fraud. Yes, South Korea. I could definitely see South Korea. Anybody from South Korea watching the show, let me know how y'all feel about Kendrick over there. I don't think I've gotten any messages from South Korea. Make sure y'all go in and check out the mashups. Y'all appreciate y'all coming through. Make sure y'all like the video. Get it out to more people. I appreciate y'all. Yeah, it's been a lot of travel bans going on, and a lot of things going on here in the U.S. that a lot of people didn't predict because, believe it or not, the guy said he's going to do it, so it's happening. The girls shine. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Yeah, I recall the 2028 Olympics said that Kendrick will perform in some kind of matter. Yeah, and the president. Yeah, they did. We spoke about that earlier. They talked about it, but nothing's really confirmed. Nothing's really confirmed. So what happened was, I think it was Maul and Akadidi, was mostly Maul, said that Drake was offered that. And they did confirm that they spoke to Drake about it. So that did actually really happen. But Drake was not confirmed to actually be the person performing either. And I know I did a video, I think when Drake was in Australia, I did that video, and it talked about them talking to Kendrick about doing this. But like I said, it's going to be at MetLife. It's in America. So I don't see it's a far fetch to say that Kendrick's going to do the Olympics. And with him doing all these Latin stadiums, if he sell these stadiums out, it's going to prove that the people in these countries think that Kendrick music is pop. And now that Kendrick makes his music pop, he could perform anywhere in the world and he'll draw a massive crowd. Alicia said he's actually confirmed. I'm gonna have to double check on that. I don't know too sure. I take your word for it. But I appreciate that, Girl Shine. I appreciate that. Like I said, you can see what Kendrick is doing, what his music is doing to the world. Everybody love and appreciate Kendrick Lamar. Bob Marley did it. He transcended reggae music to what we know it as now. He toured all over the world, and people loved reggae because of Bob Marley. And now you know what? People gonna love rap because of Kendrick Lamar. Now I know there've been a lot of greats before him, a lot of greats, but none of them has done it on a level he has. Like think about this man drops a surprise album around Christmas, right? He takes that same surprise album, performs it at the Super Bowl a couple of months later. Nobody hardly know any songs, except for the real K-Box. People like me knew every song because from when it came out, we started listening to it. But nobody knew any of those songs. He performed it, and they were like, why did he perform that? Why did he perform songs that we don't know? Nobody knew these songs. Why did he perform his hits? And then he goes on tour and performs, 14 songs in the album or 12? But he performs, I think 12, right? 10 of the 12 songs are performed on this tour as set lists. Like, when has an artist ever dropped an album and performed damn near the whole album on the following tour? That don't ever happen. They may just perform one or two hits off the album and they add that together with the last hits off their last album. But how often do artists come out here and play damn near every song off the album? That's damn never really happened. This GNX album, he's performing every song on there except for two. And that's because of how great his music is. It's got to be, because and then after he leaves those areas, the Spotify streams goes up, the playlist, everything goes up. Everything goes up. And like I said, if he sell out these shows, there's no more talking about who the GOAT is. Because those numbers I showed earlier, was it yesterday? Yeah, he actually this morning, he surpassed Jay-Z and Beyonce. Like, that is the top of the pinnacle when it comes to duels. He already passed that in, was it 21 shows, 24 shows, something like that? Like, that is insane. So to think about where he's going to be when he finish up this tour. And listen, he's going to double up in Latin America, because I think he's still going to add a few more shows. I definitely want to see some African cities added there if possible. Japan, I know it's a place I can't really be too sure about. China and North Korea. I'm not saying they aren't fans over there, but I'm not too sure yet. I haven't really heard any rumblings about those places yet. But I think this tour is still expanding. Like I said, he's going to kick this dude's back into 2026. And then I'm assuming going into 2026, we got to think he at least going to have to drop a new project by then. Right? He's got to. Well, the European leg is going to be starting July 2nd. It's going to be starting July 2nd. So we still got more of Kendrick and SZA coming up. We still got more of that coming up before he goes. He still pass out if he goes to Antarctica. Hey, at this point, nothing is impossible, right? We don't know what's going to happen. Like I said, what Kendrick is trying to do is basically call my man a PDF file on every continent in this world. He's still got Greenland, I think Greenland, and he might have it covered. I think he might hit an African country. You know, he might have it covered. Yeah, Q. SZA is not going to be on the after Europe. It's going to be a solo tour. When he goes to Australia, starting in Australia, it's just going to be him. I know in Australia he's also doing a festival over there with him and Doechii. I can't remember the name of the festival offhand, but around that same time he's going to be doing a festival there with Doechii in Australia, one of those events. But SZA is not going to be along. SZA and Mustard is not joining him on the. I'm not sure about Australia, if Mustard's in Australia, but he's definitely not going to be on the Latin side. So that definitely sucks. But he added, what's their name again? Ca7riel and Paco Amoroso to the show. Get off of there. Oh, that's not it. These are the tour dates coming up. These are going to be the tour dates coming up from July 2nd and over in Europe. Anybody got tickets planning on going to the show? July 4th, Frankfurt. I would definitely like to go see Glasgow because that's my family name. And he actually has 2 shows in Paris, 2 shows in London, Barcelona, Rome. After August, so after August, then it's going to be a solo tour for Kendrick. Amsterdam. Like, basically, when y'all come in and check the mashups out, y'all be able to let me know because a lot of people check in on these shows from around the world. Of course. That's what I'm saying. He's trying to get all the continents. All the continents. So are we still saying this is happening because of Drake? So we're saying now UMG is paying off all the Hispanic people? Is that what we're saying now? They got North America covered. Now they're coming up with the funding to pay Europe, to all those bots in Europe, right? So now they have Latin bots down there sitting in Latin America. UMG, man, listen, if they doing this much for K-Dot, why would they be blocking his music from dropping on a Clips album? You know, if they was all in for K-Dot so much, why are these things happening? It wouldn't be. It wouldn't be. Business is business. Well, as far as what the article says, it says that they're basically going to be opening. Let me get it in here. They're going to be opening for KDOT at basically at all the shows, according to what the article said. So it says right here, Lamar will visit Mexico, Colombia, Brazil, Argentina, and Chile in notable soccer stadiums throughout this fall. Ca7riel and Paco, a Latin hip hop multi-act. So they're directly from, let me see. And this is another thing right here. In the GNX store, there's a 52 set list. I'm wondering if that's going to change at all. Let's see. So according to this, basically they're going to open up. I don't think it's going to be a show like SZA where they go, you know how they ran. They did set, then they did a set. And these guys are huge over there. We saw the clip earlier with them, got the crowd just on their feet singing the entire song while he's standing there and just, woof. That's power right there. But I'm assuming SZA is going to be, something's going to be dropping for SZA soon. Gotta be. Because for her to pass up on continuing the tour when it's been so successful, it's got to be something big. And then you got to think, man, you only could do but so much. Sometimes you can't chase it. All that money right there, they trying to chase it, eventually catch up to you. Listen, UMG is the machine, right? Any machine around the world only care about one thing: feeding the machine. They don't care about anything else other than feeding the machine. As long as the machine eat, they don't care if it's 5%, 95%, 35%, they're gonna eat. So the thing that people think that they out here to protect one artist, as long as it's making money, that's all they care about. That's all they care about. What's up, Tina? Appreciate you. It says SZA will be filming a movie soon. She and Keke Palmer. Yeah, that's two to that part two, right? I saw the first. What's the name of the show? I can't remember the name. The movie. I saw it though. It was basically a rendition of Friday when you kind of looked at it the way it went down. I enjoyed it. It was cool. It was cool. It was like no matter what they did or they tried to do, they just had a bad day. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, UMG is kind of messy. Yes. I think a lot of these countries are calling. And as they call, now here's the thing. If a country calls for you to perform, and it's more likely that you'll be able to clear everybody and get in because people are going to step in to make sure your crew is cool. But if it's a place that you're booking, trying to get into, it'll be more difficult. But I'm assuming Kendrick and his people they deal with higher people on a higher level anyway. But when those countries call, they pretty much coming in with security. You'll be taken care of. They make sure that whatever you need is got. So I'm assuming that. But yeah, I think a lot of these countries are requesting it. Because with all these shows booked in Latin America, it proves that. Because they got to say, hey Kenny, do you mind coming over here and giving us about 8 shows? We really appreciate it. And Kenny's like, y'all want me to come perform over there in Brazil? But y'all don't speak English. We speak K dot. That's all we need to speak. We speak K dot, and we want to hear some K dot. Oh, so you're going to be translating for you? No, we want you to sing K dot. A lot of people don't understand that. Listen, I'll travel, and that song, Not Like Us, is all over the world. I heard it in other countries, like on people's cell phones. And I went back to Tobago. My brother got it on his phone. And I'm like, what? And the main music over there is calypso, reggae. That's what run over there. And he's playing Not Like Us. That really transcends everywhere. Well, I'm hoping Japan. I haven't heard anything about Japan yet, but it's definitely a place that Drake brought up in the beef. He says, I'm big in Japan. Kanye ran off to Japan recently, so I don't think it's far-fetched to say that a Japanese tour is coming. Tour. He probably do 2 shows in Japan. I could see that. I could definitely see Japan. Japan, what's crazy? I saw a West Indian parade in Japan last year where it was actually singing calypso and there was people at the parade, and I found that very strange. But I ain't on the other side. My sister-in-law and my niece and nephew is Japanese, so I know a little bit about the culture. Not a lot, but a little bit. My niece, my nephew, they live in North Carolina, military family, so they traveled. My brother, he's military. But yeah, Japan, definitely, I could see that. Yeah, Q Smooth. I got a video dropping. I think I may drop it tomorrow. I got it recorded, slewed up. I just don't know when to drop it. But basically, it's all extend from this Drake beef, this Drake beef, this Kendrick and Drake beef, and the lawsuit, because all of a sudden we finding out people are getting music is getting blocked, they're getting censored. The one thing I don't know about some of the reactors that's getting hit, I don't know what their perspective were on the information they were actually reacting to. Because I believe if the narrative went in the positive way against the boy or whoever they were talking about, I don't think they would have got those strikes or the taken downs. And I really feel that. So I'm really curious to see what happens. I know Knox Hill reported that he's supposed to get a bunch of strikes to his channel. What was it today? Today's Friday, right? Yeah. So we'll look up and see what happens. Me personally, I think he should just let him go. It's not worth risking the channel. I've had to take stuff down, stuff from Acadiddy, that they threatened us, and I just removed it. They actually blocked it. They wouldn't even show it. So as a content creator, we always have to be careful out here, because especially when we do music reactions, we don't make any money off of it. We know we don't make any money off it, but we do it for y'all. We do it for the community that we in. Like, I will never not want to react to a Kendrick Lamar song, even if I know I'm not getting paid, because I literally enjoy the music and I enjoy doing it. So that's why, the donations and stuff help us out. And the thing is, UMG, man, they are a machine. And like I said, a machine has to be fed. So they do not care if they're taking pennies from the little kid. And the crazy thing is the reactors that were mentioned in the lawsuit, the big reactors, this doesn't affect any one of them because a lot of them music are whitewashed. And if you don't know what whitewash means, that means that the label allows them to monetize so they don't hit them with the bill. But the smaller reactors get hit. So we always got to be conscious of what we're reacting to. You know, I don't do a lot of reactions anymore. I try to really create new content. I make my videos now personally because they come and claim. And it ain't up to you to figure out how the claim goes. It's up to whoever made the claim. Yeah, that's how it goes. Nasty work. Nasty work. So, Miss Renee, I appreciate it, Jimmy. You're a K. Dot Stan fan. K. Dot Glazer. Listen, I glaze when the glaze is needed. Yeah, I always try to speak the truth. I always try to speak the truth. But this tour is definitely, I'm very curious to see how this tour is going to look and if he's going to bring, you think he's going to bring anyone with him? Like, is there going to be any surprise guests? Is Baby Keem showing up in Australia? You know what I'm saying? It's going to be crazy to see that. I'm real curious. Who else comes out to this show? Yeah. And that's the thing, man. UMG wants to keep eating. Now the thing is, like, I don't understand. I think the stuff with court, I think that scares UMG some because at the end of the day, UMG doesn't want the world to understand how their system works. And the one thing you don't want the government in there investigating anything about you or your business, and they can go in and find things out. So I don't think this case is going to go to trial, but you never know. I just think he need to be careful because we've seen what happened to Michael Jackson and Prince and people like that. So you gotta be careful. There's things out here that's could accidentally happen that you wish. Yeah, Black Hippie is, I thought especially at one of those LA shows, he was gonna bring out Black Hippie. And he had 2 shows in LA. He had one is it 1 or 2 in San Fran? He had one in San Fran. He had plenty of opportunities to do it out there in their hometown, and he didn't. I'm not sure what it was, but you know what? I don't blame Dot. I'm the star. I'm the superstar. Y'all came to see me. You know what I mean? So I don't mind. But Mexico, I could see him doing something in Mexico City. I could see him doing something in Mexico City. I'm what is that? That's so we thinking about those shows are gonna happen. Okay, so when did he drop GNX last year? Was that November? So Buenos Aires is October, Brazil is September, Mexico September. Okay, so if you look at the way Kendrick moves, I'm thinking July, August, September, October. So going into that Latin tour would be a perfect time for him to drop something new. Now, I'm assuming it could be more Spanish influenced, and that would basically resonate with the Latin shows even more. I'm just looking at the optics and the way they've been moving, because we heard a lot of Hispanic influence on this GNX album. From the starting song to the end song with Gloria, it was Spanish influence, and here we are, and he switches out the headliner to a top Spanish upcoming artist, two of them, and definitely gonna go dive in and do some checks on them and see what they're like. I did look up a couple of their videos. I can't really play too much on here because of the copyright and the music, but they seem very interesting. Very interesting. Yeah, I think it was right before Christmas. But yeah, I could see that project. He's definitely going to be dropping. Well, I mentioned earlier today in the first live stream I did. I don't think he should drop a deluxe. And the reason I say that is because the GNX is already a classic album. Like, it's beyond classic. I think whatever the next project is should have its own name. Now, I know it'd be cool making a deluxe, adding on to it, because the way this album has gone and the way his performance have gone, the GNX tour is linked to that album. And if he drops a deluxe, we won't really hear the deluxe on tour. You know what I'm saying? So for me personally, I think the GNX album has outgrown what we even thought it was going to be. Even what we thought it was going to be. Yeah, appreciate the $2 dono, Jimmy. Appreciate it. Where is it? Appreciate it. For some reason my thing isn't hitting like it should. Yeah, I think he definitely he's gonna do something. I could see him doing that. Because we saw what the first GNX album did, and I, the thing I love about Kendrick is he takes time to create art. He takes time to create art. That girl Shine says, I agree, GNX is great. Listen, I think it's better than great. I think this is a classic album. It's definitely a classic album. Well, you think about Smoke for Joey. I think he's gonna talk about Joey. He may mention him because at the end of the day, K-Dot like the sport. He loves the sport of rap, and he think it's a sport. He's not in it for the money. That's why, and that's the thing. That's why Kendrick is so successful with a lot of his stuff, because he isn't trying to gain more money. He isn't trying to gain more power. He just wants to get his music out there, want to get it listened to, and he understands how powerful his music is. And I think he will respond to Joey Badass. On what level, I don't know, but I think he will respond in some way, because I think at the end of the day, Kendrick is proud that Joey stepped up and did what he did. Like, a lot of people say, okay, well, he lost. It wasn't about him winning or losing. It was about him standing up for himself. He held his own. I don't think he won, but he held his own. And that was good enough in a lot of people's eyes, because we got good bars. Now, you know me, I'm a big West Coast fan. I'm living on the East Coast my whole life since I moved here from Tobago. But Ice Cube's my favorite G, man. The first time I heard Straight Outta Compton, I've been hooked. That was back in what, 80, 88, 89? I'm not sure how much a lot of that stuff's going to get mentioned. You know what I'm saying? But I think I put that one up. It's still showing up. Appreciate Jimmy for the $2 dono. There you go. You say great. What about classic? Do you think it's a classic album yet, Jimmy? Anybody think is it just me that think Gen X is a classic album? I even went to the GNX tour in Foxborough and I saw him perform it. And it was amazing. One of the best shows I've ever seen. Yeah, this was by Joey, right? Yeah, there was a lot of people just, they just you think about this. Like since the battle happened, how many artists have been able to drop? We had more views, more listens on that battle with Joey Badass in the West Coast than a lot of people who dropped album in between Dochi, K Dot, Tyler the Creator, it's Absol. There's like you think about what people have been listening to, and there was so many people that tuned in for that battle and actually listened to the stuff. Ray Vaughn, all these, they put out really good music, and I'm saying I'm happy what's behind these guys, that what's coming. Yeah, like Kendrick came back, and he came back in the game at a great time, and he was on the sidelines looking, and he understood. Like, listen, I don't like the way things are going. I don't like the way things are going, and we got to thank Jay-Z for a lot of that too, because he made a lot of things happen. He made sure Kendrick got the Super Bowl. He made sure Kendrick first stayed alive to be released on this Clips album that's going to come out in a couple of weeks. He didn't have to do that, but he did it. Yeah, I know it's all about money at the end of the day, but for some reason, they want us to hear this verse. Like, I've never seen so many people fought over a rap verse, you know, than this one. It's crazy. And a lot of people say, like, oh, UMG is doing all this stuff for Kendrick and they're selling these bots out. Well, why the hell are they trying to censor a verse by him? And who knows how many other verses that's been censored by other artists from Kendrick and Pusha T. You know what I'm saying? Where is it? Oh wow, something just happened there. I think I had another super chat. Where did it go? Jimmy. Yeah, appreciate you, Jimmy, with another $2 dono. He says K Dot will not respond to Joey Badass. All right. So personally, I think he will. I think he will. And the reason I say I think he will is because when he did the interview with the what you call it, let me get in here. When he did an interview for the Super Bowl for, I think it was Apple Music, and he talked about how much of a sport, how much of an art hip hop was, right? And we know how much he cared about the craft and the art of hip hop. Now, any hip hop head would tell you what Joey Badass did in that beef against the entire West Coast by himself was amazing. He had bars out, he had doubles, triples, he was doing his thing. And I gotta say, Kendrick respect that. He always talk about it. So I'm not saying he 100% will, but he's gonna get something, especially on this new album, whatever he drops. But he's gonna respond in some way. I'm not saying it's gonna be a whole verse it could be a couple of lines because you know how K-Dot is. It's kind of Jay did the same thing when Jay got bigger, when he had rap beefs. He'll write a rap song with dissing 15 people. You get a line. You get a line. You get a line. So I think Joey Badass would get at least a line. You know what I'm saying? When he went after Andrew Schultz, all he got was like what, a couple of words, 2 words, 3 words. You know what I mean? So I think he's definitely going to get something, but how much? I don't know. Yeah, I appreciate the donation, guys. Well, as an artist, Kendrick is one of his songs. You know, he's very humble. And as a humble person, he doesn't care about making tons of money. He doesn't care about a lot of this stuff. And that's why he's so successful because he's not looking at, oh, I want to do this and I want to make all this. His goal is like, hey, how much people can I get to listen to my song? That's it. He's like, yo, I could get 100 people to hear my song. I'm gonna show up to 100 people to listen. He doesn't care about the numbers and all that. He just want to say, hey, I want to spread love to the people. Bob Marley didn't care about money. Bob Marley wanted to spread reggae to the people to understand what love music is, what culture is. And it's the same thing. When you meet those people and they go out in the world, like, whoever thought that these countries would be calling Kendrick Lamar? Like, whoever thunk it? Nobody. Definitely not Academia and these bastards. You know what I'm saying? Whoever thunk that he'll be in Latin America selling out countries and it's crazy because I think our country is trying to put shit on one of those countries as well. You know? We got some Joey Shade in the chat. That's a good listen. Okay, here's the thing. When the battle started with Kendrick, Drake, and what's the other guy, the guy that ran away? J. Cole. Yeah, he ran. Listen, there was no way Joey could have gotten that battle. Joey, to me, isn't on that level. You know what I'm saying? I like Joey, but Joey isn't on that level to even. He can try the bar, but it'll just be like the way Rick Ross and these people is throwing stuff and just doop, doop. I don't think that battle was for him. Now, Drake can never battle again. Same goes for Cole. Cole could never battle again. They've been neutralized forever. Forever. Because nobody ain't never gonna take you serious. I'm sorry. Just make good music so we can listen to and enjoy it. But I don't need you coming out with no tough talk. Neither one of y'all. That mob ties, nah, that ain't working. I'm sorry. To me, Drake had fell so far down the list of as a performer, I put him up there. He's skilled, but when it comes to actually creating the craft from scratch, he's like that White Castle that come in the package. Nah, bro, I'm gonna just go to White Castle and get it. No, I don't think. I don't think so. Like I said, because at this point, why would Drake want to go into another battle with someone else? Like we already know what his weakness is. So you just pick at that. Like he's literally a punchline. You know, you just walk out and your verse can be like, wop, 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 and everybody's laughing for days. You know what I'm saying? He's done. He can never re-enter another battle. You know, Joey, he kind of did it smart. He's calling Kendrick out, but Joey knows he's not on Kendrick level. He knows that. But if he can get Kendrick to respond, that's all he needs. All he needs is a response from Kendrick. That's it. Saying something. And if he gets that, I think he will win. He doesn't need, I don't think he necessarily needs to engage in an actual battle with Kendrick to find success somehow in there. If that makes sense. It was. And the crazy thing about all this, why all these cats are picking battles and picking fights, Kendrick is in the middle of the biggest concert tour in history. In history. He already passed Beyonce and Jay-Z. And once you pass them, you already know you're in a different stratosphere. You already know that. You know, I'm you think he wants the crown, Alicia? You said you think Joey wants the crown. Well, what Kendrick said, the crown is heavy. You know what I'm saying? So, oh, just lost my light. Hold up. Like, I don't think Joey is ready for that. Because at the end of the day, too, it's not just Joey. I think the people have to also accept him in a certain way. I'm not saying Joey can't change and that happen, but I don't see it right now. You know, love isn't generated that way. It's not faked. You know, it's not colonized. You can't fake influence, and that's why we always say that is because influentially, I don't think Joey has it. If I'm gonna be honest with you, the next person I could see coming up behind Kendrick is Ray Vaughn. I think he has it. He has that distinct voice that separates him from the rest. He has that little P funk on his voice, you know. Now I don't think Joey is fake. You know, I think he's a real artist, but I just like, okay, you can be good at something, but you may never get to be like a big international artist. And like for instance, I remember when Rihanna came out and a lot of people kept saying, "Oh, she cannot sing." No, she wasn't Whitney Houston, but she had her own style. And her being West Indian, and she put a little spin on it because her voice was different, and that's what gave her the change, and she ran with it. Look at her now, one of the biggest international superstars. I heard that she might be dropping an album soon too. I heard that she might be dropping new music too. Listen, at some point, Jay got to come back. You know, I heard somebody talk about this earlier that Jay-Z could possibly be gearing up to drop an album. He's outside right now. And when this would be the time for him to drop an album. Any old school rapper who wants to drop an album, now is the time to drop it. You got bars, now is the time. The game's been neutralized. You know, that auto tune, that the 808s with no real bars behind it. All them days right now is neutralized. Like you got to come out here and spit real bars. And all these older cats that want to come out and put music out, I think now is the time to do it. It's gonna sell. Yeah, I don't think Joey's fake, but I just don't think he has the star power. I'm not saying that cannot change, but I don't see it right now. Even him being on power and all this stuff, and he still doesn't have. I don't see that superstardom. It's almost like Kendrick. Kendrick's been a caterpillar for years, and all of a sudden he just blossomed to this butterfly. But people didn't see him when he was a caterpillar. But he was in the background doing his thing. We saw it. He always stood out in everything he do. I don't see that with Joey yet. You know, you got a lot of learning to do. Oh, that's moved up there. Ooh, that would be a rumor right there. Like I said, I think Kendrick got something coming soon. There's a couple of moments that kind of stand out in my mind that when I think back, I remember. And one of them was when Kendrick won at the Oscars, the Grammys. When he talked in his speech and he talked about Jay-Z and Beyonce, the confrontation they had seemed like it was real genuine. Like they had a lot of stuff going on. So I wouldn't be surprised if Jay appears on Kendrick next project coming out. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if vice versa. I could definitely see all that happening. Definitely. Well, I heard Nas is possibly on it. That one mic on GNX is definitely an idea. Alicia, you're a Nas fan, right? You're a big Nas fan, right? I'm pretty sure you said you were a Nas fan. I wanted to ask you, so how do you feel about Jim Jones saying he's more relevant than Nas? Yeah, how do you feel about that? How do everybody feel about that? Because Jim Jones has been speaking yuck out of his mouth since even he went to Club Shay Shay or no Nightcap or whatever it was, and try to talk about it like like when was he ever that artist? I know that had to grind your gear a little bit, right? I know definitely. Now, is there anybody here that think that Jim Jones has? Well, I'm sure you all heard the allegations and what Jim Jones was talking about. Now, I came from a era where Nas had some big albums that crafted my younger. You know, I was a young kid growing up back then, and I remember hearing a lot of those music. And I remember when Jim Jones came out, and he never did any of that for me at all. At all. I mean, he might have got on podcasts and done some of these shows later. These what they call them? These shows that he do on these all these different channels and networks. Yeah, everybody was pissed because even if when you ask these kids today, everybody know who Nas is. Everybody knows who Nas is. Of course, he's definitely delusional. He's definitely delusional, I think. Whew. He had one of those reality wasn't he on one of those reality shows? I mean, I don't think there anybody else who believe Jim Jones is a better artist influentially. I mean, in any is Jim Jones better than Nas in any way? Is there anything we can say he's better than? Like, is he better dresser? Does he speak better? Is there anything we can say about Jim Jones that's better than Nas? I mean, so sometimes you got to wonder, like, what is he trying to accomplish? Is he trying to get in a rap beef with Nas right now? Me either. I never liked his rapping style. That whole was it Dipset? that whole crew, I was never really interested. Even Cameron, I never liked coming up. After he did that movie Paid in Full, I know he was acting, but he did a damn good job, because after that, I stopped liking Cameron too. I still see him as that. And I don't like people that talk so fast like that. They fast talkers, and they always try to get you with the side eye. You know what I mean? When they're doing something around the back there and they over here talking like that. Yeah, no, bro. Miss me with that. Hey, I gotta come through and check me out. I do a show on Saturday with the Transporter Room. It's a music review show, like underground artists. This came up in our last week's topic, and people talked about who was the better artist in Dipset, and it was between Jim Jones and Cameron. And I always said I thought it was Cameron, but they always wanted you to believe that Jim Jones was the head guy. But he didn't have, to me, he didn't have the power to do it. He didn't have the power to do it. I think they was trying to push it, but that's not what everybody wanted. I think so too. I think so too. Is that even a word anymore? What's up, Susan? Appreciate you coming through, checking out the live stream. Now, here's the difference between that what you're saying right there. You say he's trying to be relevant. He's pulling a Kanye. Kanye was relevant at one point. Kanye was on top. He actually was on top. Is it College Dropout? Is it College? One of those albums is album of the decade. Like, I think it might have been one. Kanye did things in his early. Jim Jones never got there. He never got anywhere close to being that type of artist. So, and you know what? Kanye was a trendsetter, because when he created his sneaker line and all that stuff, you can say what you want, them bad boys were selling. You know, that was one of the reasons why he dropped from being a billionaire, just by losing the company. So he's pulling in bank. So yeah, Kanye was definitely influential, but not Jimmy Jones. Not at all. Not Jimmy Jones. He was never influential. And I think Kendrick will respond to Joey Badass before he respond to this dude. And he would most likely give Joey Badass pops, but he may diss Jim Jones. But I don't know what type of relationship they have. But nah, K. Dot's like, you could miss me with that. Can I get a feature? Hell no. Nigga, no. At this point, if he ain't been relevant, he ain't never gonna be. And I think that's what he's trying to bottle up, this little moment right here, because this might be his last swing. You know, it's crazy, because at least Shannon checked him on that. He checked him on that, because he was trying to spill that yuck out of his mouth, and Ocho was over there trying to egg him on. No, bro. No, I ain't gonna let you mess with real hip hop like that. When were you ever relevant, bro? We was all there at the same time. Shit, even to me, Noriega was a better rapper than this dude. You know, it's funny. I was looking at some clips the other day, and this guy he named 100 rappers that were better than Jim Jones, and it's insane. It was insane. I gotta go find that, and I gotta do a video on that, man. But it's insane. 100 rappers better than Jim Jones. Yeah, I mean, it's funny because I remember when that happened, we were doing our fantasy draft, and that was the whole conversation. And they was like, yo, why them dudes even showed up? I mean, Jada alone, man. Well, the thing is, there is so much. Let me pull this thing up from Q Smooth. You know, a lot of people fire at Kendrick, but where he is at right now, you can say what you want. Kendrick need to focus on that tour. And you remember when Meek Mills, when him and Drake went at it, I think Meek was on tour. And that's a huge difference. It's a huge difference because if you on tour, you want to concentrate on putting out a good show. And a lot of people in here has watched the GNX tour. I've been to it. I've seen it. And you can see what goes into the production, the pyrotechnics, everything that's in there. It's well done. It's a good show. And if you out here worrying about rap battles and doing all this stuff and get distracted, then you can damage that product that just made 256 million in 23 shows. You know what I'm saying? And we here talking about the Latin tour he just added. So I don't think Dot is gonna take time out to respond to these people. But when his next project drop, I'm gonna see you. He's like, because Dot is like, man, I thought I got just when I thought I was out, they pulled me back in. And that's how I feel about Dot responding to a lot of these cats, man. Jim Jones, he definitely do not need, he don't deserve no response at all. He definitely don't deserve no response. But hey, Kendrick is winning world tour for real. Kendrick is winning. And what did Kendrick say? Don't let me turn you into a song. And what a time to release a song when I'm on a world tour. Like, do you know how bad Dre feel right now? He's getting called a PDF in every continent on this planet. We're waiting for Antarctica to join into the chat, but I definitely see a lot of dates being added. I definitely see a lot of dates being added to this tour, even still, because we got Africa, Japan. Those are two places that I definitely could see him going to, who would most likely want him. I think they got South America unlocked already. I don't think there's any more cities. I'm not sure if Costa Rica has a big enough stadium to hold. They could, because like I said, all these Latin countries, soccer is king, and they have stadiums bigger than football fields. They're bigger than football stadiums. So it's always a good possibility. Alicia and Susan are playing Jinx in the chat, I think. Yep. Yeah. I should bring it up. They all listen. I gotta assume that these guys' phones are ringing nonstop. To go from just booking an American tour, and he was saying, "Oh, I'm gonna do stadiums in the U.S." And Akadidi and these guys came out and it was like, "He's not selling out any stadium." And then he does a Super Bowl, which is the worst Super Bowl performance of all time. And after he does that, entire Europe calls and says, "Hey, we want some of that." And then Australia calls. And I think New Zealand's on the hook. I'm sure. I saw it on the list, but it hasn't really been confirmed or added yet. But all these dates have been added. Now the entire Latin America, I wouldn't say the entire Latin America, but some of the biggest stops in Latin America is going to be added to this tour. When we talk about countries, Latin countries with amazing soccer teams, they usually have large soccer stadiums. We talking about 100,000 plus. Brazil, who's one of the dominating teams of all time. Pele, Argentina, Maradona. You know, I know there's other guys that play for them now, but these are people that came up when I was little. And those are two dominant soccer teams when it comes to the World Cup. He's going to be playing in those stadiums. These are massive stadiums. Chile, Mexico, Colombia. I mean, I just looked up and it said that these are stadiums as well. That's what it said in that article. So he's going to double up. Basically, this European tour plus the Latin tour has the chance of making more than the American tour because of the size of some of these stadiums. We saw Lady Gaga, she did 2 million in Brazil. I don't think PG Lang checked into that. You don't think they call them up and say, hey, what did y'all do to make that happen? Trust me. I'm curious. I'm definitely going to try to see how much of these shows I can live stream. I know I'm going to get hit with copyright, but it doesn't affect the channels. I won't get paid for it. But if I could get a couple of live streams, I'm looking to work on that now. We'll be able to live stream some of those shows. You know, that'll be the shit. I'll definitely still be making the mashups for y'all from each video, each country. It ain't city no more. It's country. We got a couple of double countries, I think, in Europe. There's a couple of shows that doubled up, but most of these shows are going to be individual countries. So it'll be Mexico's mashup. Yeah, listen, I'm really hoping that one day we get to hear Kendrick Lamar perform Meet the Grams. That's after going to the tour and making a lot of these mashup videos, I want to hear Meet the Grams. I want to hear Meet the Grimes. You know, because he's right. Kendrick is getting more paper and more paper. You know, I want to hear Meet the Grams perform. You know, that should be like somebody's Halloween request. Be like, hey, man, run Meet the Grams. Meet the Grams, right? You want to hear that, right? Grandma codes. Yeah, I definitely want to meet the Grams. You know, they said Meet the Grams surpassed Family Matters as far as streams. And I remember when they dropped Meet the Grams and they were like, ain't nobody gonna listen to this. Ain't nobody gonna listen to this shit. Listen, when you put out a masterpiece, eventually it gets found. And people are still listening to that record like it's on a regular playlist. Because you got to think, everybody got a different mind out here. There's different music that curds different minds. It ain't always got to be pop or hip hop or rap or reggae. It could be some dark, deep stuff that keeps their mind focused. And that's what they do. That's why you got music for everybody. And when you don't like something, don't say it's bad or hate it. Just say it ain't for you. Because at the end of the day, you could still tell when the music is good. It's just not something you would like. But when you hear something like yuck, you're like, nah, I'm good. I'm good. Now, the thing is about Kendrick, he's not gonna okay, if he does perform Meet the Grams, right? What verse will he put out? Like, what in Meet the Grams will benefit towards his show? That's what I'm kind of think. Like because if he puts in the last verse, he'll be dissing Drake. If he puts in the first verse, he's talking about his parents. Put in the second one, he's talking about a daughter. He's going to dig up some graves that people don't want to really bring up. Hovey Hoes is definitely going to be like, he's starting to do it again. He's doing it again. So I don't think he could never perform that song at a concert. but I would like to hear him perform it because remember, there's names in there, like personal names. So if he goes out and perform that song at the concert, especially in Toronto, now I'm okay with that, but that might be a little stepping over the line as far as the beef aspect. I don't think Kendrick is that type of person to stoop that low. He know he's one. Like I said, he's performing 3 of the songs from the rap beef on tour right now. So he is performing 3 of them. You know, all he got is 616 and Meet the Grams left. You know, even 616 is a one that I think he could have done a verse to. You know, but that one also is directly to Drake as well. But hey, Euphoria, to me, Euphoria is the best diss track ever made. Not Like Us is a great song, but to me, Euphoria was just structurally well put together. The beat changes, everything about it, you know, and being able to hear him perform that live, man, that was amazing. That was amazing. I was like a kid in the candy store. Kid in the candy store. Now, like I said, nobody could really say Colombia, Brazil, Argentina, Chile. Once those cities sell out, they can't say, oh, SZA helped you sell out these shows because, hey, SZA's not going to be with him. Mustard's not going to be with him. This is a whole, this is a second leg of the GNX tour, basically. I'm wondering how much of the set list is going to change. I could see him changing up a few things. But these people over there want the same thing we got in the previous GNX tour. That's what they want. I'm sure they're calling for the same show. Except SZA. But I gotta assume that she's basically got other things going on. Because hey, this tour's been going on for a while. This tour's been going on for a while. You know what I'm saying? I did a live earlier today, and they broke the records. All the records they broke. That's tour so far in 23 shows. They broke the duo tour, passing Beyonce and Jay-Z with 200 and I think it's 56 million made in 23 shows. I think B and J did it in 43, if I'm not mistaken. But Kendrick and SZA, this is going to be. Listen, we still got a couple more months of Kendrick and SZA when the European tour starts next week. Right? We still got another 2 months of that. So this tour here coming up, these dates is kind of on the back end, the end of the year into next year. But we're just looking ahead because I'm very curious to see what they're going to be saying when he sell out all these shows. I'm very curious to see what they're going to say. Ooh, there's some chats. Yeah, Euphoria is a beast. I love Euphoria. Like I said, to me, that's one of the best diss tracks ever made. Oh man, we got we got another one coming from that girl Sunshine. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. She coming through with another $10 dono. Another 10. I appreciate you. Let me give you some. I'm not sure why my ear horns isn't going off, but I appreciate you. And let me go back and read the comment. I hope Kendrick pays him the same as he did after Control. He came after Drake. He came after Kendrick, and Kendrick said to them all, do better. Why didn't he go after Drake during the 15-year regime? Joey is Jim Jones. Wow. Wow. Hey, chat, is she wrong? Is she wrong? Is she wrong? Hey, you know what? Even Joey has been on a successful show. You know, I think his first album was a good album, but you're right. You're right. Now, is she wrong, chat? First of all, is she wrong about that? Is Joey Jim Jones? But you know what, though? At least Joey is not totally done yet. Joey's still a young pup. Jim Jones is washed. He's done. We know he ain't coming with nothing. You know what I'm saying? He ain't coming with nothing to give us to say better days are coming. No, bro. Your better days are behind you. Way behind you, right? Yeah, Susan second that. Wow. So Joey is Jim Jones. I'll put Joey above Jim Jones. Anybody put Jim Jones above Joey? Answer that one. Oh my God. Listen, I got to record Kendrick performing Euphoria, and I go back and watch it sometimes, and it's amazing. Seeing it live, seeing him perform it. We're doing these mashups, word for word, no background tracks. Being able to emphasize it the way it was written and the way, I mean, everything about it, about that show, about the way he performs it is amazing. And he's going to be going on a run, man. I don't see like people like Joey. Like, be honest, who's going to try to dethrone Kendrick Lamar right now? You know, there's nobody out there that to even challenge him to say that. Like, what rapper out there is doing what he's doing? My man is finna sell out Central Latin America. A rapper, an American-born rapper is finna sell out stadiums in Europe. Well, he's already done Europe. Now I know M has done that. I'm not sure if M ever did a Latin tour. I got to research that. I know M did Australia. I'm not sure about Europe, but listen, hip hop is big over in these countries as well. A lot of people think hip hop is just U.S. and Canada. No, 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 no. This all over the world, all over the world. And with today, because of the internet and the way information is moved so fast in today's times, they're getting it instantly. People around the world are getting the stuff instantly. So they basically they want it just like we do. So yeah, like I said, I saw this thing the other day. I got to look for it and pull it up. This guy named 100 rappers that's better than Jim Jones, and he got to 100, and he was like, I got more. I got more. Yeah, if you was able to get to that show, I know a lot of people were saying, "Oh, you should watch the show instead of trying to record it." But listen, when you get home, you see the clips and the videos you recorded, and you look back and it says, "Man, I was there. I can't believe this happened." It's an amazing feeling. Yeah, they've been sneak dissing for years. They've been sneak dissing for years. I think I'm close to hearing most of K Dot's, but there's still music that he has that I haven't heard. There's still stuff he has, and I've been a fan for over 10 years. You know, and there's always something stuck somewhere. Be like, what is this? I never heard this. You know, because he's done so much music, and I'm wondering what the catalog is on music that he hasn't released and don't plan on releasing. because my man have done albums and scrap them because he doesn't like the way it turned out. He's done that a few times. Euphoria and the MTG are better than NLU in terms of this. I'm supposed to figure out what those are, MTG. I think Euphoria is better than any diss track ever for the time it was dropped, the way it was, what it did for the battle itself. Like how many people can say they got a one good diss track? This dude got folk. He got folk. And the whole world heard it at the same time. The whole world love. Well, it's just like I even mentioned, where was Joey when the battle was going on with everybody else? Like, where was he at? Did he not see what was going on? Because even at the same time when it kind of was tickling down and Rick Ross was still throwing shots and the Weeknd, everybody was still throwing shots. But like, where was Joey at? He was inside watching, like, oh, I can't wait to come outside. And all of a sudden the battle was over and he came outside and was like, bruh, we was all having barbecue. Where the hell you was at? Yeah, I fell asleep. It's crazy. Susan with the $5 donor. I appreciate you, Susan. Kendrick is about to tour this entire year, basically. He hasn't stopped making major moves since March 2024. I love to see it. Good night. I appreciate you, Susan. Good night, too. You're right. You're 100% right. And 25 is going to be all dot. 26 is going to be all dot. Because we all know he got a new project finna drop. And I hope it's an album. And I'm assuming it's going to be heavily Latin influence. Because when his album comes out, if it follows up to where he dropped GNX last year, it's going to drop when he's in Latin America. And what better to have Latin collaborations while you in Latin America performing on tour. And I can see Kendrick doing them goddamn shows in Latin America while on tour. So yeah. And the thing is with Drake that I always say to some of these Drake fans, like, y'all talk about how successful Drake has been for the last 15 years. Like, yeah, we were upset, but he was on top for 15 years. Kendrick's been on top for a year and a half, and y'all freaking out like somebody running around with a dirty blade that rusted, just running around open. Just watch out, watch out. You know why? Because y'all know he's done. Y'all know he's done. I appreciate you, Susan. Thanks for coming through checking with me. I'm surprised I'm still on this long. I can talk about Kendrick all day when it comes to this stuff, man. I appreciate y'all. MTG, Meet the Grams, yeah. Listen, Meet the Grams was the one that tied up your legs and you fell on the floor. And literally the hole's already dug because you dug it. Back in the day, you dug it, and they just got to cover the dirt. I think that's what Not Like Us was after the dirt was covered. But yeah, Meet the Grams is one of the most diabolical diss tracks ever. You can't even call that a diss track. To me, that wasn't even a diss track, man, because he was basically trying to help you. Yeah. And if you listen to Meet the Grams and can't see the skills in the and the writer that Kendrick is, then you're just a hater. Because I had my buddy come up here last week, Billings. You know, we got another channel that we're probably going to be working on, but he hadn't listened to any songs from the battle, you know, but he's been hearing things. So I had him listen to Euphoria. I had him listening to Meet the Grams, and his mouth was damn near on the ground, just. And I was like, so, and he was like kind of understanding why the things are going. And when he heard, because he makes music too. He's in studio engineer and stuff like that. So when he actually heard a lot of the stuff, and he was like, wow. Definitely. That should definitely be used in horror movies. I know, like, so a lot of his movie stuff off the GNX got signed to different deals. I know Not Like Us did, but yeah, Meet the Grams, that could definitely be the next Jason. Ding, ding. Jason hits Toronto. I know, I'm sorry. I had to do it. I had to do it. At Gramco's, that's one of my favorite, but it came out in November 2010. K. Dot era. Yeah, I was saying that earlier, you know. I always go back and still watch a lot of the reactions to the compilations, you know, when they talked when it actually happened, the night it happened. The night that show happened, I was supposed to go to one of my buddy's birthday party. And he had like 3 drops in like a couple hours. And I was like, bro, I'm not leaving. I ended up coming back home from that party. I was like, bro, you know, it was just the intensity of it, the way it all happened, you know, because once K Dot got engaged into the battle, it was downhill from there. But yeah, I definitely still watch those. Now, I'm really curious to see what this set list is going to look like overseas. If he's going to change it at all. Knowing K Dot, I don't think he will change it. I know the GNX album's definitely going to remain on that. So if he does drop a deluxe, these things are going to be added to that show. What was that? When I first heard, I was in the car. Oh, when you first heard it, you was in the car. Okay. Yeah, I mean, when I listened to all of this stuff, I literally sat home where I was comfortable with no distractions and just listened to it. So I reacted to each one of them too. You know, there were decent reactions. It was like, whoa, okay. There's a lot of that stuff you had to go back and look it up, find out. Well, not with Meet the Grams, but like with Euphoria and some of the other things. It was crazy. And the thing is, since then, I've listened to Meet the Grams in the car. That song actually hits good in the car. It hits good in the car. And like I said, depending on where you are in life, that song hits hard. That song hits hard. Where's everybody checking in from? I'm here on the East Coast. It's 1 a.m. I would be surprised if Meet the Grams is in the next Jason movie. I wouldn't be surprised at all. Somebody's going to eventually come forward and get that to use it, whether it's in one of these Transylvania movies. I could see it in a Transylvania movie. One of them cartoon movies where they play Meet the Grams, where they actually have him sitting at the piano playing it. That would be insane. Q Smooth checking in from Sacramento. I appreciate Sacramento coming through. One of my really good friends live out there in LA. What up, CJ? New Jersey Jimmy. New Jersey Jimmy checking in. That's what I'm talking about. Hey, I might be coming down there for some Jets games. I'm a big Jets fan. So I know you're probably a Giants fan. Jimmy sound like you're a Giants fan, but that's okay. I still appreciate you coming through, checking me out. Hey Jimmy, did you go to the show at MetLife at all? Or you didn't get a chance to? I'm all the way here in CT. I used to live in the Bronx. That's where I led my first entry point. I lived in the Bronx for a couple of years before I moved to Connecticut. Okay, I'm sorry. So Jimmy is a female. Sorry, Jimmy. So what's your nickname? Jimmy Khan. You say that. I get it. I definitely get it. So you did attend. That was the first show? I think that was the first one, right? Yeah, I covered that one too. That was the one that Baby Keem came out. Did you get Baby Keem for your show? 'Cause I know Baby Keem came out on the second night. All right, Q Smooth, you hit San Francisco. Now, that was one of those shows that I loved the visuals from San Francisco, where the out people outside was most of the people outside was out there watching the show, listening to it because they couldn't get in. Yeah, San Francisco was definitely lit. Yeah, you guys got Baby Keem. Was that the second night or I think Baby Keem was the second night. It's crazy. They say he can do New York. He did 2 shows in New York. Sold them bad boys out too. Like I said, when I'm curious as to see how these tickets go. I'm gonna be doing some digging to see how the fans are, because there's a lot of information coming out about this tour in Latin America, but a lot of it is in Espanol and Portuguese, because Brazil speaks all Portuguese mostly. I mean, Chile, Mexico, and Colombia, Argentina are Spanish speaking countries. So I am going to be pulling clips. Obviously it's going to be harder to with the language, but we're going to make it work because they're English speaking people over there as well in this world. That's how it is. You know what? Jason is one of these movies that it's going to be coming out for a while. Now, I don't know if they'll put the Meet the Grams in a Jason movie, but I could see it in like one of these cartoon Halloween movies that they make. Something like Transylvania, something like what's the one there with the Minions, things like that, where it's gonna be funny, and when you hear it, I could see it being on like Family Guy. Where Peter is playing that song at a Christmas party or something, just to be an a-hole. I could see that. And a crazy skit with dude getting dumped on, and well, hopefully Family Guy don't end up in a lawsuit. Now it's weird. I was looking at the because it came up that a couple people try to get merch online and they got scammed. Now, if you went to the show and you're trying to get merch and you're trying to figure out how to get merch, even if you didn't go to the show, well, I guess you had to go to the show because what they give you is a ticket. I'm sure. Let me see. Let me grab my ticket. I got it back. They give you this ticket. On the back of the ticket, there's a scanner. If you scan the back of the ticket, it takes you directly to the store. Come on. So yeah, if you scan the back of this ticket, it takes you directly to the store. And to the merch, it takes you also takes you to future tour dates, all kinds of things like that. So if you went to the show and you didn't get a chance to get merch, you're looking for more merch, that's where the best place to go. Don't get scammed. Go find the ticket they gave you. I know a lot of people that went to the show got one of these. And if you didn't keep it, I feel sorry, but I'm going to keep all my stuff from the show. But on the back, scan that. It will take you directly to, I think it's PG Lang or whoever's store. And it's definitely worth getting. I got the t-shirt and the hoodie. Quality is amazing. Very good. I would recommend it. Now, the thing is, I'm wondering if they're going to make special merch for the Latin tour. I want one of those goddamn merch shirt. He's definitely going to have Latin America's merch. Definitely. Yeah, you got to get the vinyl. I got the vinyl back here too. You see it right there? Right there. Right there it is. Oh, I got that new camera. The shit zooms in. But yeah, you see it right there behind me? I'll actually looking to get the DJ Mustard one, the yellow. If you click on that and go in, there's the yellow DJ Mustard album as well, which a lot of people I saw bought. Yeah, Playboy Cardi came out in Atlanta. And that's another artist that people didn't really see Kendrick vibing with. And Kendrick proved them wrong. The energy in Atlanta was definitely on point. Had a lot of energy in that show. Definitely. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna frame this or something and put it up back there. But at least it's laminated already, so I'm not gonna try to get it wet or anything. But that's why I got them back there. They're all gonna go up. The GNX album's gonna go up. I got a couple more things I want to put back there. But this is definitely something you should definitely keep. You should definitely keep. Now I'm definitely gonna try to see if they add merch in the European tour. They may add merch for the European tour that says Europe on it, and they may add Latin America on it. Well, who knows? Knowing K Dot, you know what? You're gonna buy my gear that says America on it, whatever. Because you know how K Dot is. The one thing I'm looking to get, I don't know if anybody buy cassette tapes for the GNX album? Because I know a couple of people got CDs, but anybody get cassette tapes? And how come Kendrick didn't make any 8-tracks? Because there's a grandpa down south somewhere be like, yo, where my 8-track at, K Dot? I got my 8-track player going. It's something I may look into. I mean, I'm never gonna play it, but I'm sure it's gonna become an antique someday. Shit, my kids don't even know what a cassette tape is. They don't know what that is. Anybody know anybody that still got a 8-track? Most of them cats down south got 8-tracks. I don't mean to stereotype nobody, but usually uncle and them. I can imagine the type of fun you had in Vegas, for real. I've been to Vegas. I spent a week out there in Vegas, and I was not ready to come back. You know, going to Vegas can be different in many ways. The person you choose to travel with definitely will have a lot to do with what type of fun you had out there. There's a lot of things to do in Vegas, so much things to do, that if you went to Vegas and didn't have a good time, you might just be a sourpuss. But yeah, and I'm sure being in Vegas made it such more amplified, made it way more amplified. I have one more clip in here. I don't think I'm gonna run it. Man, I can't believe I've been on for almost 3 hours. Hey, y'all been great. You know, it's almost time for I got a golf game going on. It's today now, 10 o'clock tea time. But I had to come on here and talk about this tour, man. You know, when it comes to Kendrick Lamar, and well, we're gonna be losing SZA after the European tour, but that ain't till after August. You know, we got a long way to go, and we can see what the future is gonna turn out to be when it comes to this Grand National Tour. And listen, we've seen record, we've seen history happen right in front of our eyes. We've seen it happen, and we just gotta acknowledge what this guy's doing. You know, his music is becoming pop music because the world is falling in love with a young kid with a big dream from Compton. Straight out of Compton, straight out of Compton. Straight out of Compton, crazy acting in main high school. Yeah, that was my group back in the day. Easy E and all them cats, man, they came hard. Hey, miss, I don't mind you think you slick. You told crack to my sister and now she's sick. If she happened to die because of your drugs, I'm sticking in you a 38 slug. Yeah, I'm not gonna run that. I had another clip, but it was basically talking about people down south, how much they love K Dot. Yeah, I mean, what can J. Cole say to, like, there's nothing he can really say right now about anybody. Like, he just need to go make good music and hopefully people like it. But he could never really get confrontational with anybody. And you know what? I don't think that Kendrick would have been so vicious with Cole like he was with Drake. I don't think they would have gotten the same songs. It would have been different. It would have been different. But everybody knew, Cole knew he had to get out the way, because Cole was basically like, I want to trade some bars, but really, y'all ain't trying to trade bars. Y'all on something else. Like, Cole saw that. He was like, yo, nah, I want my peace that night, because he knew what was finna go down. Levi was like, nah, bro, you might want to. But by him doing that, I believe he stepped on his shit forever. Two people that could never get in another rap beef is Drake and Cole. I don't care what nobody say. Both of them been neutralized forever, ever. And nobody taking Drake serious again after he done drop a lawsuit. Who's taking him serious? Your mama? Yeah, okay. I don't think so. Listen, there's been a lot of people, Diana, in this that follow me that went to 2-3 shows, and some of them are doing the European tour. I've said it. If I could get to see another show, I'm going. I don't care where it is. I don't care where it is. If I get opportunity, I may be in South America later this year. So I'm not counting it out. But y'all be the first to know. I guarantee that y'all be the first to know. And I'm not counting that out. But yeah, this show is that good. Now, if you're not going to obviously get the same show that you saw here in the US, because unless you hit the European tour, SZA's going to be gone. So you're going to get more K-Dot, which we want anyway, right? And who knows? We may have a new project by then. And K-Dot always lives in the present. He's not about living in the past. So he finna perform his new songs. You know what I'm saying? He's definitely not living in the past. So I could see him dropping a new track, a new project, and basically put that project right into the set list. Oh yeah, I mean, look at look at these countries right here, Diana. If you look at these countries, look up some of the best soccer teams in the world, and we have about 2 of them on here: Brazil and Argentina. These are the 2 biggest. I mean, there's some big soccer teams, but when it comes to World Cup, these are 2 countries that always dominate, always have. And they have 2 of the biggest soccer stadiums. They have stadiums that's bigger than football stadiums by far. Hundreds of thousands. So yes, these stadiums are bigger because in these countries, they have stadiums for soccer, not football, not American football. Like my dad would say, how could you call it a football when you guys you carry it? My dad, West Indian through and through, and he always talked shit about football, American football. How could you call it that? You don't kick the ball. So back in my country of Tobago, they say football for soccer. They don't say soccer. I just say it so people are not confused. But when I'm over there, they say football. I'm like, oh, then I have to remember what they're actually talking about. But I believe there's a possibility that he could make just as much or even more from all these Latin shows because of the size of these stadiums. I'm curious because Brazil, they had a show over there with Lady Gaga where she sang in front of 2 million people at one time. Could you imagine 2 million K-bots showing up to watch the show? I would definitely try to be one of those K-bots. In Brazil, 2 million people. Hey, it's possible. Because everything they tell this dude he can't do, he happened to do it. The boogeyman. Boogeyman shows up and get it done. Yeah. Well, yeah, these are going to be big stadiums. Big stadiums. Now, I mentioned before, I don't think Kendrick is a person that cares about money. He doesn't care about those things. He cares more about getting his music out to people. He care about because You go to this concert, anybody who's went to this concert could attest to this. When you leave out of there, you're literally in a euphoric stage for about a week and a half to 2 weeks. And then your high comes down where you're literally like, wow, this is amazing. And you feel relaxed and your energy's in a different spot. And your heart feels a certain way. And you could feel the love, and you kind of give a little bit of that love when you leave the show. Everybody's leaving there singing and happy, you know. So I don't think he's in it for the money. I think he's doing stadiums because they told him he couldn't do it. You know, if Kendrick was doing this for money, ticket prices wouldn't fall. You know, you look at some of these stadiums, some of these shows that were sold out, some of them like MetLife. Going into the second day of MetLife, it still had 4,000 tickets left. He sold that in damn near half a day once the show came close. You know, and tickets that was going for $400, they cut them to $250. Why have empty seats when you can get people in at a bargain and fill the seats? And that's how you know he cares more about people coming to the show than a sold out show or a show with empty seats, you know? So yeah, I don't really think he cares about the money too much. He's not in for the accolades and all that stuff. That was more something around the boy. That was something Drake cared about. He wanted to be intimate with his fans, so he did a lot of small venues so everybody could be close together. All right. That's different. Kendrick want to have a stadium where we could fart and not smell each other's shit. We want to keep it, you know. Yeah, this is also something that I'm kind of thinking is going to drop soon. It was supposed to come out in June. They had mentioned that, I think, a couple of months back. We haven't heard it. I heard it got pushed back, but I'm definitely curious to see what that show is. I guess it's a show that's going to be coming out from the South Park creators with PG Lang and Kendrick. There's something they're doing together, like a joint thing. And I think he's doing voices and thing. I'm not too sure exactly what it is, but that's also something going to drop. But I think specifically he has an album as a project getting ready to drop, whether it's with Black Hippie, whether it's Latin influenced with a couple of Latin tracks on there. I could see that. I could see the Black Hippie stuff coming alive. Baby Keem, who appeared on tour, I could see them doing another song together on there. There's a lot of possibilities. There's a lot of possibilities. Who we know we ain't gonna see on there? People like Kanye, we ain't gonna see though. You know, and you know what's crazy? As much as Kanye was dissing Kendrick, the song on Playboy Cardi that Kendrick is on, Kanye produced that goddamn song. You know, it's just crazy and diabolical. You could tell he's just upset because Kendrick took out his nemesis. But that's another day right there. That's another day. Where we at? I think I got them all. Man, I really appreciate y'all coming through tonight and hanging out with me. Damn, it's almost 3 hours. So I'm going to get ready to wrap it up right there. I got a couple of videos dropping tomorrow. I got the mashup on right now. Basically of that hangover that we all have. We all have that that feeling that we need, you know, we got withdrawals, not having a GNX tour for what, 2 weeks, week and a half, 2 weeks before the next one starts. So a lot of us having withdrawals. So that mashup is to feed that. People are still putting out new videos from the last show, couple shows. Brand new stuff's getting uploaded still. So there's a lot more clips out there to come out. There's a lot more angles. I'm really curious to see what comes next. When it comes to this tour and where it's going to go. And I'm going to be here to report it to y'all, bring it to y'all. And I appreciate all of y'all, the comments, the interaction. Hey, I'm here for it all. When I screw up, let me know. I try to fix it, do what I got to do. But I'm going to see y'all in the next one, y'all. Peep Our Cove. Y'all have a good night. Don't let the bed bugs bite.